The most important lesson that I've learned in my entire life is that we are nothing more but a sophisticated collection of patterns that we've downloaded just like software into our brains. These patterns are like unconscious survival strategies, deeply embedded structures that we've inherit from our parents in our desperate attempt to secure their love, right? And the single most important or the single most liberating truth is that we are not our patterns. Beneath this layers of conditioning resides our true essence, unattained, boundless and free. Everyone's chasing obsessively financial freedom, location freedom, time freedom, but there's a freedom that towers above them all, and a freedom that's way more profound, and it's mental freedom. Without it, these other freedoms are completely meaningless. You can have all the money in the world, all the flexibility in the world, and still be trapped, bound by unconscious patterns, fears, and limitations that you don't even see, right? Mental freedom is the highest form of liberation, and it can only be achieved through, and here's the key, awareness. Awareness is like the light that exposes the shackles that you didn't even know you was wearing. Without it, you're a slave to the scripts of your parents, and they learnt it from their own parents, so no one's to blame. Now with it, you step into your true essence, and there is no freedom greater than being connected to your true essence. Let me give you two mind-bending experiments that will hit this point home. First, you can YouTube it, the fleas in a jar. You take a jar, pop some fleas inside and screw the lid on. The fleas jump, but they keep on hitting over and over the top, right? Now, here's the wild part. Take the lid off and guess what? These fleas still won't jump any higher because their limitation now is completely self-imposed. They've now created a pattern to jump just at that height, right? Now, the second one, this one's even crazier, a baby elephant in a circus. They tie the calf to a stake in the ground. It pulls, it struggles, but it's not strong enough because it's just a baby elephant. It's not strong enough to break free. Now, fast forwards a few years, and this thing's a giant, strong enough to rip down trees, but it stays put, tied to the same tiny rope. Why? Because the physical restraint is gone, but mentally it's still stuck. And here's the kicker, just like the fleas or just like the elephant, most of our limits we think we have are just learned patterns. This is exactly what Bob Hoffman discovered with his work, and he calls it the negative love patterns. Think about it. You've got the people pleaser, desperately trying to avoid conflict. You've got the perfectionist who thinks that achievement equals love. And then you've got the emotional suppressor, which is terrified of vulnerability, right? All these patterns, they're not truly you. It's not our true essence. They're just survival strategies that we picked up along the way. Let me give you a personal example, my stubbornness, right? It wasn't wisdom, it was a form of armor, a defensive mechanism, right? And I've come dangerously close to losing friends because of it. Now, does that mean my true essence is stubbornness? No, my true essence is love, care, connection with those friends. But my stubbornness, my stubborn pattern takes over and it pulls me back. It overrides that deeper part of me. It's a defensive structure, one that I picked up by watching my parents negative their world, likely as a way for them to protect themselves. As I say, it's a pattern that they ingrained and they learned from their own parents. And the first step forward to this freedom is seeing them as what they truly are. It's like updating your psychological software, right? The old program is still there, but you're conscious of it now. And I want to go through 4 stages for updating this software. The first one is awareness, right? Recognizing the pattern and asking yourself, well, where did it come from? Who did I learn it from? It's like shedding that initial light over it, right? To be aware of it. Then the second one is expression, releasing it physically, because these patterns are not just mental, they're stored in our body. The third one is compassion, understanding that the pattern once served a purpose. It was there to protect you, and your parents learnt it from their own parents. So again, like, very important, no one to blame here, and forgiveness is key. Then there's the fourth one, which is reconstruction, consciously rewriting your response, updating your software, and choosing freedom over conditioning. All right, it's adopting a new behavior. So try this, catch yourself in one pattern, just one, pause and trace it back. Ask yourself, where did it come from? Who did I learn it from? What was it protecting me from? And then in that moment, take a conscious choice to respond differently. And that's how you start breaking free, one pattern at a time, right? Remember, those fleas could have jumped higher. The elephant could have walked away, and you can break any patterns once you see it for what it is. That's it. That's the game. Consciousness over conditioning every single time. And every single time you watch a video on this channel, do the Holy Trinity. Subscribe, like, and comment so that I can monetize this. Yes, this might be within itself a slight money never enough, always chasing more pattern, but I'm working on it. And until I've fully eradicated it, please feel free to feed it by subscribing.